I call the honourable member Chris Farfui.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair, for giving me the opportunity to speak to Part 8. I do want to spend most of my time about an amendment that I have tabled around the clause. But first of all, I think it would be remiss of me not to touch on a few topics that Mr Hennaday spoke on just before I got to my feet. Mr Hennaday says this is about choice. Well, the students, both at private tertiary establishments and at the mainstream establishments, have choice right now. If 10% of them are so fed up with the advocacy and the support and the advice that they're getting from their student union, then they can mobilise and move to disestablish the student union by the way of a referendum. But are they lining up? Are they lining up just like Mr Hennaday said? No, they're not. Not even the ACT Party could get 10% of the student membership from any of the private tertiary establishments or any of the polytechs or universities around New Zealand to get off their butts and mobilise themselves to get 10% of the student membership to have a referendum against their student union. And Mr Hennaday said, if it was that good, people would be lining up. If it was that bad, people would be lining up too, Mr Hennaday. People would be lining up against their student membership. And do we see that at the private tertiary establishments? Do we see that at our polytechs and at our universities? No, we don't. Because on the whole, these student bodies are doing a good job of supporting those students who need help from the Student Association, offering very important advocacy, support services for the student membership. Mr Chair, we are on Clause 8, and Clause 8 amends Section 236A of the primary legislation by omitting and including any Students' Association membership fees. And an amendment that I have put on the table looks to amend Clause 8 by adding to that Students' Association membership fees that may have been paid by a student in whole or by the way of instalments. And you might find it boring, but maybe you'll wake up. Maybe it's because you. Sorry, maybe it's because the member just woke. Maybe it's just because it's the member that just woke up that he might find it boring. But Mr Chair, some student associations do have the ability to pay by instalments, and I guess that's a real bonus for some of the students that are at those institutions because of the way that the cost of living is going at the moment. And students at the moment are feeling the pinch just like thousands or hundreds of thousands of other Kiwis at the moment, and they would welcome the fact that they can pay their student association fees by why aren't they marching? Why aren't they marching against in the streets? It's a very good question that the member puts up there. They aren't in opposition to student associations, so why aren't they marching in the streets? Why is this even here? Why is this even here? It's not even a problem for the majority of tertiary students. So why is this bill before the House? And it's pure ideology to the minister. Pure ideology. Tail wagging the dog. ACT Party having power over the National Party, and I'm sure a lot of the members on that side of the House who have had some association or some experience within Students' Association will be opposed to this. But on this case, it's ACT, the tail wagging the dog on this instance. Coming back to my amendment, Mr Speaker, which will be voted on later as we get to the end of Clause 8, those students who are struggling to make ends meet now will not have the information as to whether they can join a student association made available to them by the private tertiary establishment, because this Clause 8 takes away the onus of the PTE to inform its students that it can join or be a member of the Student Association. And Mr Chair, I believe that is a tragedy for those students who do really want choice, who do want to have the assistance of a student association, whether it be cultural, whether it be educational, or whether it be through services, as I mentioned before, if an establishment has an early childhood education centre on its premises. Mr Chair, those students who are struggling to make ends meet at these PTEs, who might be looking at paying their fees on an instalment basis, who now won't be getting this information for the PTE, really are relying on the advocacy and the services that students' associations supply. And I think in its whole, this piece of legislation is going to be detrimental to those students at the 300 plus private tertiary establishments that will be affected both by Clause 6 and 8. Mr. Chair?
I call the Honourable Member John Boscawen.